Welcome to JGTCR, I'm Cope, and today we're looking at why modifying cars sometimes makes them undrivable on GT7. After the 1.49 physics update and the subsequent 1.50 patch to fix cars shooting into space, there's been a few issues with the suspension tuning. But fear not, fellow racers, because with a few tweaks to the suspension, relief is on the way. So without further ado, let's get into it. Diagnosis before prognosis. We first need to understand what's happening before we make any changes to the tuning. So here we go, up the main straight with a completely modified but untuned vehicle. All good so far, but then... exit stage right. To understand what's really going on here, we're going to have to zoom in and have a closer look. Here we are at the pit exit, where we can see exactly where catastrophe strikes. As we pan around the vehicle, you notice the front is literally scraping the road. And adding to the issue are the wheels scraping the arches. With the wheels touching the body and the body touching the road, that leaves zero room for control. So now we understand why we're spinning like Michael Jackson on Greased Lightning. Let's take a look at some of the more milder effects of this default tune. So here we are approaching another corner as aggressively as any real racer should when we suffer a massive bout of understeer. Let's look at the replay for another angle to see what went wrong. From this angle we can see as the weight shifts from left to right, the wheel becomes captured in the wheel arch, nullifying any turning ability. We suffer the same fate in the following corners, so you get 2 for 1. This understeer leaves us digging in the kitty litter. And now we make our way to our date with Barrier. So let's take a closer look at these two turns and see what's going on. That wheel is so deep in that arch it's planning on having wheel babies. And of course, moving around to the opposite side, we can literally fit a mountain in that wheel arch. At the next turn we can see just how bad the situation is, with all the telltale signs from the main straight reoccurring right here. So the question remains, what are we going to do about it? How are we going to fix the situation that we're in? Let's take a break from the action on the track and take a look at a tuning sheet that explains the error of GT7's ways. And now the moment we've all been waiting for, the tuning sheet. This is actually a composite of 3 different tuning sheets, with the essentials being displayed here for your pleasure. On the left side is the default tuning sheet for a completely modified vehicle. The center tuning sheet is that of a factory showroom vehicle. And the far right shows our modified race tune in all its drivable glory. Our focus will be the race tune on the right hand side, as it is the combination fried rice of the other 2 tunes. Making our way down the race tune in the suspension category, first up is body height adjustment. We are keeping this at factory level at 115. This ensures good clearance between the wheels and the arches, unless of course you're running big wheels. In which case you may want to increase this adjustment by between 5 to 10 points. Anti-roll bars are set to 4, mimicking what we see in our modified tune sheet. Dampening ratios, both compression and expansion, match the modified tuning sheet. The natural frequency is where all the magic happens. We have taken the values from the modified tuning sheet and added 1 full point. That is 1.00. This is a rule of thumb whenever I race tune a road car. What this achieves is a reduction in body movement as we experience changes in the road surface. Our camber angle is set to factory tune. This gives the tread of our tyres more contact area with the surface of the road. The outcome here is greater traction during straight line acceleration and more control under braking. Toe angle is left even Stevens across the board, and diff settings adhere to the modified tune settings. Now that we have this simple race tune dialed in, let's see how it goes out on the track. And here we go, trial by fire as we head up the main straight. Do we have an issue? No, we have made it through unscathed. Praise be to the car gods. Making our way through turn 1, we prepare to approach the gauntlet of understeer. We're coming in hot and turning hard. No scrubs, all good, let's move on. Heavy on the brakes, turning in, we're firing on all cylinders, trying to get a good run. A little bit wobbly, but let's see what we can do moving forward. And here we go, turning in, do we face understeer? We do not. Kitty litter avoided. Final point of contention and success. We have done it. So now it's time to celebrate with a little bit of silliness. Let's see how this Lambo handles a little drifto. Well, I wouldn't be entering any D1 comps, but for a basic race tune, it drifts pretty good. So as we head to the main straight of this particular track, let us reflect on what we have done to make this vehicle handle better. We combined the greater values of factory settings and modified settings. But more importantly, we added 1.00 to the natural frequency settings. And now we will pan around the vehicle one last time to see the fruits of our labour. No scrubbing on the front, the wheel arches have plenty of space for movement and turning abilities. So now there's no excuse. Any error that occurs is based on our capabilities as a driver. And now it's time for Cope's final thoughts. What we have learned today is that default settings of modified vehicles on GT7 sometimes makes them undrivable. However, using data provided by GT7 and little resolve on our part, we can mold problematic vehicles into something that at the very least is manageable on the racetrack. The formula provided within the tune sheets can be transferred to any vehicle on GT7. So hopefully this video provides the support needed to revive dead vehicles and get them back in the game. And that's all we have for you today, so until next time, keep racing.